Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going back to Codecademy and the Python exercises. So if you're joining this in the middle of the playlist, I'll put a link down below to the playlist so you can start from the beginning if you wish. So we completed all these sections. Now we're up to student becomes the teacher. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright. So lesson number 1. Welcome to this challenge course. Till now we've been leading you by the hand and working on some short and relatively easy projects. This is a challenge, so be ready. We have faith in you. We're going to switch it up a bit and allow you to be the teacher of your own class. Make a grade book for all your students. Alright, so we've got a dictionary here. You assigned it to animal, and then we've got the key name. Under name it's got Mr. Fluffles. And under the key sounds, we've got a list, meow and purr. And then it's going to print out animal name, which is going to be Mr. Fluffles here. Alright, so now they want me to create 3 dictionaries, Lloyd, Alice, and Tyler. Give each dictionary the keys name, homework, quizzes, and tests. Have the name key to be the name of the student, that is Lloyd's name. Should be Lloyd, and the other keys should be an empty list. We'll fill these in soon. Okay. So we got Lloyd, and do that, and we've got name, and we're going to put in Lloyd, capital L. And then we need homework. They want an empty list. Quizzes. And they want an empty list. And tests, they want an empty list. Oops. Sorry. There we go. And then I'll just copy and paste this and change the appropriate sections here. So we've got Alice, and we'll call this Alice for the name, and then copy this and create Tyler. Hopefully I've done that all correctly. Let's run that. Syntax error. Invalid syntax here. Oh, I forgot to put all the commas in here. And now it ran. No, it didn't. Did you create a dictionary named Lloyd? I thought I did. Oh crap, I forgot the commas here too. Alright, let's run it again. There we go, finally. Alright, what's the score? Now fill out your Lloyd dictionary with the appropriate scores. To save you some time, we filled out the rest for you. So you've seen they filled out homework, quizzes, and tests for Tyler and Alice. And they want us to fill in Lloyd. So I'm just going to copy this, put this into the homework list, quizzes, and test scores. Make sure to include the decimal points so the grades are stored as floats. This will be important later. Alright. Okay, next. Put it together. Now let's put the 3 dictionaries in a list together. So we've got my list, and it's just 1, 2, 3. The above example is just a reminder of how to create a list. Afterwards, my list contains 1, 2, 3. Below your code, all right, so below the code, create a list called students that contains Lloyd, Alice, and Tyler. Okay. equal sign. For the record, excellent. Now you need a hard copy document with all your students' grades. Okay, the example above is just to remind you how to create a dictionary and then to access the item stored by the cat key. So this would print out this list meow and purr, because you're calling the dictionary and you're calling the key cat. For each student in your students list, print out the student's data as follows. Print the student's name, print the student's homework, print the student's quizzes, print the student's tests. Okay. For key in students, or for student and students, I'll put students. So that's going to cycle through these 3 dictionaries here, and then I want to cycle through the different keys in those, and I'm going to print the key. Oh, sorry. Student.values. All right. And you'll see they're not printed in any specific order because a dictionary is not an ordered list. So you could get homework first, or quizzes, or tests, or name, etc. If you wanted to do them in a specific order, you could instead take this off and do it like this. You could go print student name and then print like that. And that would give you, in the specific order you wanted to, you'd have to specify it all out. It's okay to be average. When teaching a class, it's important to take the students' averages in order to assign grades. Okay? So this is just different divisions here. You can see in this division, because you're taking in Python 2, you're taking an int divided by an int, you're going to get an int back. You do a float divided by an int, you'll get a float back. And here you convert the type to a float, so that's basically the same as this here. The above example is a reminder how division works in Python. When you divide an integer by another integer, the result is always an integer. They changed this in Python 3, so that's no longer the case. When you divide a float by an integer, the result is always a float. To divide 2 integers and end up with a float, you must first use float to convert one of the integers to a float. All right. So write a function that takes a list of numbers and returns the average. Okay. So we're going to define a function. We're going to call it average. That has one argument, numbers. So it's going to pull in a list of numbers. Don't forget the semicolon. Inside the function, call the built-in sum function with the numbers list. So we're going to do sum numbers. So sum just sums up the numbers in the list. And we're just going to return that, I assume. Store the result in a variable called total, okay. Like the example above, use float to convert total and store the result in total. Okay, we're going to convert this. divide the total by the length of the numbers list. Okay. Use the built-in function len function to calculate that, return that result. So we're going to return, total divided by the length of numbers. So length of numbers is just going to count what's ever in the list, the number of items in the list, so this would be 4. Let's see if they're happy with that. Looks like it works. Just wait and see. Great. Now we need to compute a student's average using weighted averages. So in the above example, we created a dictionary called cost that contains the cost of some fruit. So we got apples, it's got 3 items in the list, and bananas, 2 items in the list. Then we calculate the average cost of apples and the average cost of bananas. Since we like apples much more than we like bananas, we weight the average cost of apples by 90% and the average cost of bananas by 10. So here you see they do 90 times average of that plus 0.1 times the average of the cost of bananas. The division character is a continuation character. The following line is considered a continuation of the current line. So you see that here. All right. Add your function below. So create a function called getAverage that takes a student dictionary, all right, as the input, and returns, so call it student dictionary, and returns his or her weighted average. So define the function getAverage that takes one argument called student. Okay. Make a variable homework that stores the average of the student's homework. Okay. So I'm going to use the function we already defined up here, and then I'm going to feed into it student homework. So that's going to go to whatever student we gave it to. Let's say we gave Tyler. It's going to go to here. It's going to go to the homework section and feed this list into the average function here. Repeat the above step for quizzes and tests. Multiply the 3 averages by their weights and return the sum of those 3. Homework is 10. Okay. So we got homework, we got quizzes, and I'm just going to copy this and change the appropriate part. So this becomes quizzes. Then we've got tests. And then we've got a return. So we got 0.1 times homework plus 0.3 times quizzes plus 0.6 times tests. All right, is that it? Let's run that. That was good. Sending a letter. Okay, great work. Now let's write a getLetterGrade function that takes a number score as input and returns a string with the letter grade that the student should receive. All right. So we're going to define a new function. And it's called getLetterGrade. And we're going to put in a score argument. expect score to be a number, okay. Inside your function, test score using a chain of if, else statements, length so. Okay, so we got if score is greater than 0.9, then we're going to return a is greater than or equal to elif score is greater than or equal to 0.8. We're going to return b, and elif score greater than or equal to 70. Actually, yeah, this should be 90, not 90%. All right. Return C. elif score greater than or equal to 60. We're going to return D. Else. I assume we're going to return F. Return F. Finally, test your function. Print the resulting letter grade with print. Call the letter grade function and pass in getAverage Lloyd. Okay. So we're going to print get letter grade. Then we're going to put in that. We're going to get average. And we're going to pass in Lloyd, if I can spell it right. All right. So it's going to start with this inside part first. It's going to get the average for Lloyd. So it's going to actually call the average function for homework, quizzes, tests, and then pull in this weighted average, and then it's going to call the get letter grade on what is passed from this function and give us a grade. And it looks like it's a B. Part of the whole. Good. Now let's calculate the class average. You need to get the average for each student and then calculate the average of those averages. Define a function called getClassAverage. All right. So we're defining another function, getClassAverage, that has one argument, classList, semicolon. To be a list containing your 3 students. First, make an empty list called results. So we're going to create results, and this is an empty list. For each student item in the class list, calculate getAverage student, and then call results.append with that result. Okay. So we're going to do results.append, and then we're going to do getAverage. All right. So first we got to wrap this in a for student in class list. Get average and then student, and then call that blah blah blah. Finally, return the result of calling average with results. And then we're going to call return average with the results. Okay. Let's see if I did that correctly. And it looks like it did. So if we run through this, we have an empty list, and then let's see. Well, you would have a class list that would have the students that you want to do, which would just be a list with Lloyd, Alice, and Tyler. Doesn't look like we actually have it in here. That would be the result. And then this for loop would go through each one of those and get the average for that student and append it to this list. And then this would just return the average of that results list, which is using this function that we defined here. How's everybody doing? Awesome. You're doing great. Now let's use the functions you've created to check on the grade of the class overall. Now create a list called students and fill it with 3 students, Alice, Lloyd, and Tyler. Okay. So, okay, we're doing students here. And we got the list. Alice, Lloyd, oops, and Tyler. Run that. Didn't like it. Okay. What did I do wrong here? Oh, sorry. These shouldn't be, these are referencing the dictionaries, so they shouldn't be in quotation marks. Find the average grade of the class, print this numerical grade to the terminal. All right. Print get. We got already made this handy function, get class average, and all we have to do is pass in the students list. And you can see here's the class average. And that's it for this section of Codecademy. Alright, thank you guys for listening to this video. Hope you guys are able to follow along. And I hope you guys will join me for more videos in the future like this. Thank you very much. Goodbye.